rights and democracy around the world. That is our mission, and that exists in several ways that we'll be showing you today. In the past year, we've watched unlikely leaders, mainly tech-savvy youth, rise from virtually nowhere to achieve incredible real-world change in places like Colombia, with Oscar Morales, Iran, and Moldova by using commonplace technologies that we're using every day amongst the next generation. And it's just the beginning, my friends. The Alliance of Youth Movements strives to address the needs of modern movements with training in activism and integrating technology. I'm going to show you today exactly how to do that and how it's being done. This organization is comprised of leaders from the private sector like myself, the NGO community like Oscar Morales, foundations, and some of the most successful digital movements around the world. Allow me to show you a documentary of our work that we did this past December.
Welcome to all of you. You are changing the world. You are doing the important work. You are the best antidote to terror, to violence, and to oppression. You are the answer to the savagery of Mumbai. You are in the vanguard of nonviolence, of freedom, of justice, and of social change.
Every day, millions of people worldwide use online social networks to share photographs, make connections, and cement friendships. But a growing number are also pioneering a much more innovative use, transforming the internet into a powerful tool for change. These individuals, harnessing the ability to instantly communicate with millions of others, are using social networking sites to launch grassroots movements, to organize rallies, protests, and smart arms to resist oppression, circumvent censorship, and denounce violence. In short, they are converting online activism into concrete, real-world results. One of the most potent examples is the story of 1 Million Voices Against the FARC, a Facebook group created by one man in January 2008 to protest the rebel faction that has terrorized Colombia for decades.
My name is Oscar Morales. I am the founder of the 1 Million Voices Against FARC movement.
Using Facebook to crystallize, popularize, and amplify this message, Oscar was able to organize one of the largest mass protests in history. On February 4th, 2008, just 1 month after the group was launched, more than 12 million people in over 200 cities around the world poured into the streets to oppose the FARC.
It was, indeed, the biggest mobilization ever organized in the history.
The protest struck a crippling blow against the terrorist group.
When they witnessed that the country was against them, that their ideals were no longer supported by people, they understood finally that they were in the wrong place, and they started massively to leave FARC and to reincorporate into civil society.
Inspired by Oscar's story, new media company Howcast joined forces with the U.S. State Department, Google, Facebook, YouTube, MTV, and other sponsors to host the first ever Alliance of Youth Movement Summit, held over 3 days at Columbia Law School in New York City.
All we wanted to do was partner with as many people as possible to help what was already happening happen at a much larger scale.
The conference brought together delegates representing 17 pioneering youth movements from around the world.
And we have people coming from everywhere. And we have people coming from Africa,
Strong in South Africa,
from Latin America, people developers, the Middle East, South Asia, Youth for Tolerance,
From a Global Action Network,
5 continents around the world, IOF organization,
the Genocide Intervention Network,
The Safeguard First Coalition, Visible Children.
Hi, my name is Sharon Singh, and I'm from the People's March Against Knife Crime in London.
In a lot of respects, these are modern day guardians. They're people that are going on and using platforms like Facebook, sites like Howcast.com, global technology, blue chip technology, really innovative ways to fight against violence and extremism around the world.
And part of what we want to do here is bring groups together, share common practices, and try to inspire other groups to harness the same technologies in order to push for positive political political and social change.
Now, I had the opportunity to moderate one of the many panel discussions along with experts, scholars, journalists like Blue Russett and Nicole Lapp. The delegates shared tactics and gained insights from each other and from fellow panelists, including Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskovitz, Google's Katie Stanton, and several members of Barack Obama's new media campaign team.
Ultimately, we became a $500 million organization, but at the very beginning, it was just 3 of us and a whole lot of people who really liked this guy.
Basically, if you fast forward 2.5 years, it's a team now, we've responded to about 90,000 messages from 40 different countries.
It really is what this is all about. One person's story knitting into the fabric, and suddenly we are looking at a world vision.
We have a Facebook cause with over 500,000 friends, a MySpace page with 250,000 friends, and an email list which numbers in the hundreds of thousands.
We've been able to leverage these people using the internet and Web 2.0 technology to achieve real policy change.
Our network is pretty expansive. We list to 55 universities. So if somebody in the University of Missouri wants to have an event, we've created guides for them, basically like a how-to checklist. So all they have to do is add water and people.
So you're able to reach a new world of information. And it's not just something that's far away, some distant NGO. These are people, and you said they're young people, and they're just like you, and they're passionate. And I think that Facebook has been an incredibly valuable vessel or utility.
I think we promote democracy basically by being what we are, by making the world more open, by making people more connected, by giving them a forum to be able to be heard. The nature of being connected is diametrically opposed to isolation.
Just really overwhelming being here, listening to everybody's stories, and just, remembering that we're all here in part of it just seems a lot bigger than what we've done.
The first ever Alliance of Youth Movement Summit yielded concrete, real-world results. Delegates pooled their knowledge and experience to create a field manual synthesizing the best practices and methods for creating online movements. The manual exists as both a printed and digital document, so it can be easily spread far and wide. Hauck has produced a series of how-to videos condensing the manual's message for even wider dissemination, and launched a Youth Movements Hub, a virtual space where summit participants and anyone else eager to join the struggle against violence and oppression can connect and interact, sharing resources and spreading the message. And finally, Summit organizers secured 501c3 status, ensuring that the Alliance of Youth Movements will continue to grow and fulfill its mission. Plans for a second summit are already in the works.
It's about the individual connection with a young person, that they can do anything to change the world.
It's the new UN. It's the new way to solve problems. It's the new way to be aware of what's going on, not just in one place, but everywhere.
No matter what you are, no matter what are your capabilities, when the young people discover that they are not alone, and when you embrace them and you give them tools and you give them courage, then you discover that united young people, we can change the world for a week.
Join the Alliance of Youth Movements. Visit youthmovements.howcast.com now.
So what you're going to see here are a couple of slides that I'll have translated and posted somewhere for you. I'll work with the founders here so that you can read a little bit more about what we're doing with our next big adventure that's going to be in Mexico City and not New York City this year. We plan on moving this all around the world. And while a lot of people can't come to wherever we're at, we will be live streaming just like this is so that you can participate. Not only that, all of our material is hosted on our website so that you can go back and watch panels that took place in New York last December. Still, you can do podcast downloads, and we're trying to use a lot of the tools of technology that we're promoting for everyone else to use around the world. I know that here we're talking a lot about business and how people are using the different types of technology, including social networks, to advance their business. And so I really wanted to bring a different kind of angle to this discussion so that you can see how you can actually be affecting positive change in the world when you're logged on to High Five, when you're on Twitter, when you're text messaging. These are all very wonderful ways that you guys can all be making a difference and still have fun, still be working, trying to create and build your businesses, studying, and making a difference. Now, I think that it's important to point out that these are simply tactics. These are ways that you can expand your brand and ways that you can reach out to more people. This October at the Alliance of Youth Movement Summit in Mexico City, we're going to be bringing groups together from over 20 countries. We will be having people from Iran, journalists there. You can send your questions in and ask exactly how the Twitter revolution impacted their families that are still there. You can ask them all different kinds of questions, even about the net or video. We'll have representation there from Google and YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, but you're going to be able to meet people that are representing causes like Genocide Intervention Network. I mean, who would know that still in this day and age, people are being killed all over the world just for who they are. Ethnic cleansing is still happening, and there's a phenomenal organization that is great offline, and they have a fantastic organizational infrastructure, but they're using the tools of technology and new media to reach out to people such as yourselves to educate you and enroll you. Now, the offline component is very important, and as I said, the new media is a tactic. You're still responsible to make the advances physically to affect policy change. You can go online and you can have 100 people sign a petition, and you might cause a stir. But imagine if you had 100,000 people all sign a petition online and then feel safe and protected and be able to then advance for policy change in your country, in your state, etc. There are many opportunities here for a person to not just create their own cause, but to join another. I think collaboration is a very important message, and the teamwork. There are a lot of organizations out there, for example, that are pushing against human trafficking, sex trafficking around the world. That is still going on. They're not competing with one another. This is them using different tools to communicate all around the world, to enroll you into learning a little bit, maybe signing their petition, or joining their cause on Facebook and inviting your friends. Perhaps none of your friends had heard that human trafficking is still happening in Somalia, in Nepal, all over the world. Did you have any idea that in Uruguay, like many other places in the world, there are child soldiers? There is an organization that is going in, led by a madman named Joseph Kony. They're going into people's homes in the middle of the night, and they're kidnapping young children. They are marching them off to fields and training them to be child soldiers, in which they fight against their own families, many of which are not able to ever make it home. There's an organization based in San Diego, California, called Invisible Children. They are committed to putting an end to that. They are online. You can join their cause. You can find them on MySpace. You can follow them on Twitter. And the real power is your involvement. You can join one of their programs and share with your friends and involve them in making a difference. All of these wonderful tools that are continuously developing give you an opportunity to participate and learn. And you never know. I mean, at some point, you may say, hey, I want to address this particular issue in Lima. It isn't getting the attention that I believe that it deserves. And do your homework. I think a big point is not to only use high five or to only use Facebook as your medium, but use them all. And don't forget that you have to participate physically. Go to events such as these and talk about what your particular issue is. While we at Alliance of Youth Movements create tools to help make this more simple, they're very general. You can go onto our website and learn how to use Twitter. You can learn how to create a Facebook group. You can learn how to circumvent an internet proxy. We created tools like that because in many countries, the governments shut down the ability for people to communicate. So we teach them how. This is incredibly valuable in countries like Venezuela, in countries like Cuba, if they can't get internet access. And, most recently, this was proven in Iran, just after the elections, when the upheaval took place, and people were protesting the outcome of those elections. Well, it was a natural reaction for that oppressive government to shut down the people's ability to communicate outside of the country. Many people use tools such as ours to learn how to circumvent that proxy so that they could still post on blogs. I mean, I'm sure many of you are text messaging. From a statistic I saw here yesterday, 91.5% of Peruvians have cell phones. So this too is another way that you can communicate. With 37%, according to their statistics, having internet access, that is a lot lower than other places in the world. But I also saw that a very high statistic about how you can go to schools and internet cafes to get online and email. I think that it can be, as it is for me, a personal goal for us to take the time that we're spending online and watching movies or doing homework and make a little bit of a difference. I'm confident that most of the people in this room are all using an online social networking tool so that they can communicate with their friends, find old friends, meet new ones, hear about what's going on in your community, and I encourage you to maybe accept the invitation that you want to do a walk against breast cancer, or accept an invitation that you want to go hear someone speak about a crisis in Moldova. I think what's particularly interesting is that you can go online and watch a live stream of something, and in the comfort of your own home, office, or school, be able to participate and not feel awkward because you didn't know already. There are a lot of inhibitions that are depleted by the use of social networks. I think a lot of people here have talked about the security involved in using them. I think a lot of people have talked about how maybe you could manage your time a little bit better. And I'm going to leave that to them because I throw myself wholeheartedly into all of the different tools so that I know that I am making a difference. And I'm sure that every single one of you here all want to make a difference. Whether your passion is for saving children that are victims of sex trafficking, whether your objective is to make people feel, oh, I know, if women could drive in Saudi Arabia, you may not think that that affects you, but still in this day, they can't drive. Maybe you want to take it upon yourself to help a fellow friend that you meet online in Saudi Arabia get a petition signed so that they can then once again present this to the king and help promote women's rights in an oppressive country. I invite you all to try to reach out, and I invite you all to go to allianceofyouthmovements.com, in which we have countless, hundreds of different videos that you can use in several different languages. We will constantly be revising our field manual with the most up-to-date material based on questionnaires and surveys that we complete with many different users around the world. I'd like to now invite some questions so that I can see exactly what you're thinking and help everyone in